In this week's Parsha, Parshas Bechukosai. So we know that the main theme of the Torah this week is the klalos, the curses of Parshas Bechukosai, where Hashem warns Klal Yisrael that if you don't do the correct thing, then punishment, suffering will come upon you. But the parsha begins in Bechukosai Teilechu. If you will walk in my path, in my laws, Ve'es mitzvosai tishmaru, and you guard my mitzvos, v'asisim leisam, then you will get bracha, rain, the land will produce its fruits, and all the gebrachas of the beginning of the parsha. But it's strange that the Torah begins in Bechukosai Teilechu, that you should walk in my chukim. Rashi says, what is Bechukosai Teilechu referring to? If it means that you should walk in my laws, which means you shall guard my Torah, you should keep my mitzvos, it already says that. That's mitzvosai tishmaru. So what does it mean? Shetiyu amelim b'Torah. You have to be toiling in Torah. A person has to be toiling in Torah. Amelim b'Torah. We know in the pasuk in Koheles, Adam la'amal yula. A person is born for omal. To toil. So the Gemara says in Avodah Zarah, maybe that means to toil in his work. The Gemara says no, that's not what it means. It means to toil in learning Torah. A person has to toil in learning Torah. You wonder, what does toiling mean? What does it mean to toil? You know what it means?
To work hard.
To toil, work hard.
To really work hard. To
make it your business.
Kill yourself over it.
Kill yourself, yeah.
Mesiras nefesh. You really got to put in something more than just sitting back and relaxing and in a lazy boy.
Right. And how does Rashi know that the Torah meant you should toil in Torah? Maybe it meant you should learn Torah, not toil, this extra level that you just described.
How does he learn that?
How do we know that? How does Rashi know that from? Because it says in Bechukosai Teilechu. It should have said in Bechukosai Tilmidu. Right? You will learn my Torah. What does it mean Teilechu? That implies you go in my Torah.
But there's even
so if I was Rashi, I would have said, no, that's not what it means. That's not what it means. It means you should practice Torah. You should walk in the Torah. That's what Rashi says. Rashi thought of that too. And he says, oh, but that can't be what it means, because it already says that it's mitzvosai tishmaru. So it must be that it means you should somehow act out the Torah. You should get into Torah in a physical way.
Yeah.
Right? So
let's get physical about Torah. Let's get physical.
Yeah. So in Bechukosai Teilech.
But not only that, but what word does he choose for Teilechu? Bechukosai. What is it? B'mishpotai Teilechu. Why Bechukosai Teilechu? A chok is like we can't understand it. What's this toiling? What's this toiling in something you can't? What's the use? What's the purpose? Forget it already. Let's we'll work hard on the mishpatim. Why the Bechukosai? Why specifically Dafka does Rashi emphasize Bechukosai? There's a mishpatim Teilechu. That seems like an easier plight. At least there's a hope of understanding. How are you going to understand Bechukosai? The chok is that the definition is you can't understand it. You do it, but you can't understand. How on earth was Rashi going to tell us now? You got to toil in that. That's what we're talking about. Useless effort.
What's the answer?
Ooh, because my sense is Torah is above nature, and if you put in, because there's this whole thing in the Gemara, I believe, Yagati Matsati. If you worked hard and you said you found it, you believe him. You didn't work hard, you found it, you don't believe him. Torah, you can toil as much as you can, but the end result of getting it is a gift from Hashem. Whether it's a mishpat, whether it's a chok, whether it's anything. But the only way you're going to get that is through the toil that you put in.
Here, beautiful. The Medrash in this week's Parsha says as follows. In Bechukosai Telechu, Hadohu Dichsiv, this is what the Pasuk in Tehillim is going on. Cheshavti derachai, I thought about my paths. V'ashiva ragli el eidosecha, and my feet brought me to your eidos, to your eidosecha. What does that mean? Amar David. David HaMelech says, B'chol yom v'yom hayisi mechashe v'omer. Every single day I would think and say, L'makom ploini u'lebeis dira ploinis ani hoylech. I'm going to this place, to that place. I need to take care of my banking. I need to go to work. I need to make sure that their army is well trained. I need to make sure that
the food is bought. The queen is sitting on a shopping.
Yeah. I need to do this and that.
And where would he end up?
But my feet would bring me to the Beis HaKnesses and to the Beis HaMedrash. Hado dichsiv v'ashiva raglai el eidosecha. Cheshavti derachai. I thought about, what am I going to do today? I got to do this. I got to take care of that. What if I won't do that? So then this won't happen. I have to put in my effort. I have to make sure that everything gets taken care of. But my feet are taking me elsewhere. That's what Bechukosai Telechu. So the Medrash has a little bit of a different shot. Rashi said, Shetiu amelim b'Torah, should toil in Torah. The Medrash says, no. Im b'chukosai telechu. What does that mean? What is im b'chukosai telechu? Im b'chukosai telechu. What does that mean? So let's ask a couple questions. This is Sasemis' question. The Medrash is saying something else, not Rashi is saying. And we'll bring it out through a couple of questions. First of all, it should have said im b'chukosai tishmeru. You should guard, like mitzvah tishmer. You should guard my chukim. Second of all, when a person thinks cheshafti derachai, right? Cheshafti derachai. Normally, machshava, when a person starts to think, so he's going to end up somewhere else, not in the Beis HaKnesses. So what's this ma'ila of cheshafti derachai? Like what is the Medrash trying to say? The Medrash is saying like this: even though normally when a person would think, he'd ponder about all the things he needs to take care of, he'd start getting worried about all of his assets, he'll start thinking about all the things. When a person starts to think that way, so it's not going to take him to the Beis Medrash. But Vashiva Raglei El Edosecha is Afal Pikein, my feet bringing me to the Beis Medrash. Why do my feet anyways bring me to the Beis Medrash? Because that's my daily schedule. Even though my mind wants to take me elsewhere, I have my schedule. I have my set schedule. I do things with consistency. And therefore automatic. It's automatic almost. Vashiva raglei el edosecha. So says the pasuk in Bechukosai Telechu, you must walk in my chukim. They must be so normal and so regular and so usual and so that every time. What do you mean? I'm going to go to work without going to Shachris? Doesn't make any sense. Can't be. I go to Shachris. Call it the FFB syndrome, but that's a ma'ila. In Bechukosai Telechu. If you walk in my chukim, even though if I had to think about, today we have very big thinkers, right? Think and what does this mean and whatever. But if you think too much, you're not going to go to the base medrash. Vashiva ragli al desecha. It has to become a commitment. It has to become consistent. Vashiva ragli al desecha. That's in Bechukosai telecha. And I want to tell you that perhaps I could suggest that's what Rashi means too. I asked you what does toiling mean. So everybody got up and went like this, right? You have to go, get into it, right? I think what toiling means, perhaps suggest that what toiling means is even when you don't want to go, even when you have so many other things better to do, amelus means that what it means is effort, right? Mesiras nefesh. What does that mean? It means when I want to do 10 other things, I go anyways, because that's my daily schedule. I recall when Rav Moshe Shapiro was here a couple months ago. So he spoke Motzei Shabbos in Westmount, and he said that the Torah, we know when the Torah was given, the Shul is coming up. When the Torah was given, so we know that the Bnei Yisrael trembled, and we say, right, that Kof Aleim Har Kigigis. Yeah, they trembled, and maybe they were getting nervous, and the Rabban Shalom had to hold the mountain over top of their heads. Kof Aleim Har Kigigis. But they already said Nasa V'Nishma. So what does it mean, Kof Aleim Har Kigigis? Isn't that a stira? Isn't that a contradiction? So he wanted to say, there's a bunch of answers, but he wanted to say that the Torah has to be learnt in that way. The Torah had to be given in that way. It wasn't Bnei Yisrael were makabel of Torah b'ratzon. They thought about it and they wanted it. They wanted it. They thought about it and they wanted it. But it also had to be given in a way that was being forced to them to take it. Why? Because not every day do you really want to go get out there and learn. Not every day do you really want to get out there and daven. Not every day do you really want to cut a check to that Mashallah Fitzstock. Sometimes, yeah, in a good mood and you feel good about yourself and Yiddishkeit and whatever. And sometimes just whatever. It's just not, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I just don't want to do it. There had to be the Kof Aleim Har Kigigis. There had to be that Bechina, so that we would be makabel the Torah. That is part of the Torah. It has to be done even when I don't want to do it. Kof Aleim Har Kigigis. I had to be forced to do it. He explained that's why you need kaviyas itim laTorah. What's kavata itim laTorah? They ask you after 120. Did you set aside time for learning?
Yes.
He said there has to be a time in your day. It could be 10 minutes, 15 minutes. There has to be a time in your day where you must learn. No matter what else is going on, you must learn, because that's Kof Aleim Har. That's the kiyum of Kof Aleim Har Gigigis. And if you don't have that time where you must learn, then you don't have the Torah in its shleimus. You don't have the complete Torah. That's in Bechukosai telechu. You have to be amazed. It's not always the thing that you really need to do right now or you want to do right now. It's the thing that you just will do a little later. But in Bechukosai telechu. Telechu ve'inu raglaim mevi'is oisi elo lebeis hakneses lebeis hamedrash va'ashiva raglai elei doisecha. You have to learn that lesson. It's not always negative to have, is it bad habits are negative, right? Bad habits are negative. That's what my parents told me. You agree? Bad habits are.
Well, if your parents said they must be right.
You bite your nails. Is that bad?
It's not good manners.
So, okay, it's not, granted, it's not good manners.
It's not good midot.
What about if you go like this with your beard?
Scratching your beard, going like that?
But what about if you go like this during your shir?
That's keeping away.
What about a girl that goes like this with her hair? Right?
Right.
So, some people say, well, it's a bad habit, right? So, I'd like to turn it around a little bit. Let's turn it around a little bit. Yeah, I'm sure I'm not telling any chidushim to anybody here, but perhaps the habits are very good and positive. they might look a little funny sometimes, or you might perceive that maybe they're bad manners, maybe some of them. And maybe they might be a little annoying. But usually it's a kid, sometimes they're adults. But it's something that relieves their stress. Right? It's something that relieves their tension. Something that they need to do, otherwise they're going to do something else. And you don't want them to do the other thing. Whether it's a kid that has a tantrum, or it's an adult that gets angry, wouldn't you rather he continued just picking his beard? It's a tension reliever. It's actually quite healthy. I'm positive. This is my psychology.
Oh, this is according to the 8th of Yaakov.
This is, yes, Professor, Dr.
Halevi.
Yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. Okay. But sometimes, you say, oh, it's a habit, it's negative. Why am I even talking about this? It's a habit, it's negative. Not every habit is negative. There are habits which one can use in a very positive way. And this is one example. Sometimes, yes, learning Torah has to be beratzon. It has to be with excitement. It has to be everything I ever wanted to do and the most geschmack in the world. But sometimes it's just not that. Right? Not because of its chisman, because of our chisaron. It's just not that for us today. It has to be a habit. It has to be habitual. We just do it because we do it. Just because. Because we do it. We can't control ourselves. Aim by my feet. Where am I going? I can't not go daven shachris with a minyan today. I can't.
How is it possible?
There's another Sfasemis that says, he picks on a different word of the Medrash. The Medrash says, Chashavti Durachai. I've thought about my ways. So Sfasemis says that through thinking about everything you do, that brings das to the Maisa. In other words, people do things, right? All it is a physical act, right? So you're just part of the movie screen. You're just part of the game that's going on when you do something. What makes your action holy? If before I do the action, I think about it, and I put kavanah into it, and I think about why this is good for me and why this is good for my avodas Hashem. And he says that every single morning when we're makabel on ourselves, O Malchus Shemayim, with Kriya Shema, we say Kriya Shema, we're makabel on ourselves, O Malchus Shemayim, we have to be makabel on ourselves the ratzon to do every action today l'tov, for Hashem. And then we infuse energy, spirit, into our physical acts. Otherwise they're just physical. It's a nice vart. Chashavti D'Rachai, that's why David Melech had to think. Chashavti D'Rachai, I'm thinking about everything that I'm doing today. Vein Ragli Maviyas Asivim Beis Medrash. Right? He learns it means that you're thinking about going to the Beis Medrash, but you think about it in a positive way. Nice vart, right? But there's a very scary proof to this vart in halacha.
I just want to repeat. He says that when you're doing Om Malchut Shemaim, you should. He says
Chashavti D'Rachai in the Medrash means I'm thinking about, before I go to the basic Knesses, Beis Medrash, I have to think about going to the Beis Medrash and the basic Knesses. Every action, every D'Rachai that I do today, I have to think about what I'm doing so that it can be Kavanah L'Shem Shemaim. And when I get up early in the morning and I say I'm Kabbalah Om Malchut Shemaim, I have to think that everything during my day is going to be L'Shem Hashem. I have a very scary proof to this Sfasemis from halacha. We think that's, go up to Shemayim, we'll have tons and tons of mitzvos, we'll have some averos too. Good. Not us, but some people might be in for a big surprise. And they might tell you, okay, we're up to Kriya Shema. So how many Kriya Shemas did you say in your life? 3. 3? What are you talking about? 2 times a day, every single day? 3. 3. Shemona Esrei.
That's not good.
How many Shemona Esreis do you have?
14.
14.
14, that's it?
14? What?
Where's all the rest?
Every single day.
Where's the rest of
Rosh
it?
Hashanah Yom Kippur. What? 14.
Neila.
How many times did you shake lulav and esrog? 6. 6? I lived for 78 years. What are you talking about? How many times did you eat matzah? 72. Okay. Baruch Hashem, got that one down.
That's cool. Look at his first phew. There's something there.
What's going on? What's going on over here? The halacha is, when it's in Samach and Shulchan Aruch, mitzvahs tzrichas kavanah.
Yeah.
It's a machlokas. And we passed in mitzvahs tzrichas kavanah, which means that in order to be yotzei the mitzvah, you actually have to have intent to do the mitzvah. And if you don't have intent to do the mitzvah, it's very scary, but you're not yotzei the mitzvah.
That's it.
That's what we passed in. That's the halacha. Yesham mitzvahs tzrichas kavanah, yesham mitzvahs halacha is the mitzvahs tzrichas kavanah. Okay. What does that mean? Mitzvahs tzrichas kavanah. Come on, Hashem, you know, I'm Jewish.
Yeah.
You know, I do your mitzvahs, right? That's what I'm doing. What do you mean mitzvahs tzrichas? Every time l'shem yichud kudsha brichu shchinte, like I have to have in mind that I'm doing this l'shem the mitzvah because you told me to. Why? Why do I have to do that? You know what I'm doing. Right? Okay, spaced out, fine. But you know that, you know I meant well. I just, wait. Did I shake lulav and esrog this morning? Yeah, I must have.
Yeah,
What?
come on.
Should I, how? Did I say how? Yeah, I must have done
Sure,
that.
all of it.
I must have done that today.
Did you walk to Shul?
I walked to Shul, yeah. For that, my feet took me there, right? But it's very scary. It's just tricks. Come on. Now let's not get, I don't want to scare everybody, but there is a Chayavim, and the Chayavim says that if what you're doing has to be a mitzvah, and as you would never do what you're doing for any other reason, your ma'asim are mochiach that what you're doing is a mitzvah. Like the actions are, it has to be that you're doing this for a mitzvah. Why else would you pick up a lulav and esrog and shake it?
Yeah.
It has to be a mitzvah.
Give me a break.
Then that's like kavanah also, even though you weren't really thinking intently about it. You didn't have intent. But that's a chayanam, okay, I hope he's right. We all hope he's right. So it's very, very scary. But why is that the case? Why does it have to be that way? Because mitzvahs, what are mitzvahs? What are mitzvahs? The Torah is something very spiritual. So in the physical world, the Torah, the way that the Torah comes to light is by saying Sheikh lulav and esrog on Sukkot, right? Well, what is that mitzvah? The mitzvah can't be something physical, Sheikh lulav and esrog. It has to be something spiritual. So unless you infuse your das into that mitzvah, it really has not too much meaning. So you took a palm branch and an esrog and you shook that. What did you do? It doesn't have much meaning. You have to make the connection. The physical action doesn't do much. The Torah tells you to do a physical action, therefore I'll do it. That's bringing to life the physical action. Chashavti derachai, that every single day when I get up in the morning I have to say everything I'm going to do today is l'shem shamayim, is because of the Rabban Shalom. And then before every mitzvah I have to think this is because the Rabban Shalom told me to do the mitzvah. And I have to have intent. That's what kavanah means, intent. I have to be conscious. I was thinking, we live in a world that's like 75%, and that's being generous, unconscious all the time.
Mitzvah Hanashi Milamada? Is that what you're saying?
No, that's not what I'm saying. If that's what I was saying, then we'd have a contradiction over here. But the idea, people, it's just like you're thinking, your mind is like somewhere else, and you're doing whatever you're doing, and you totally don't even know what you're doing and remember what you're doing. And it's because of society, everything's fast, everything's instant, and you're connected to the whole world, and you're in Mars and he's over here, and you're playing video games against the guy in Japan, and you're
connected because you don't turn up.
Where are you? You're not here. You're like somewhere else. Your wife's talking to you, and all of a sudden you go, what? What were you saying? You're not here. I don't know, maybe you guys don't have this problem, but for the younger generation, we grew up in this funny world. And we're just, it's our whole avodah, I'm telling you, the whole avodah of the Jew born into the 21st century is to put his mind into what he's doing. That's the whole avodah. That's the ratzon, that's the your tachlis in this world today. It has to be, because it's the hardest thing to do. That has to be your avodah. To have kavanah, l'shem Hashem, to connect your mind to the action that you're doing, and to be mamaleh. That has to be our avodah today. Think about what you're doing for the Rabbi Shul. I'd like to talk a little bit about this clause here. I'll ask a few questions. We know that the Gemara in Megillah says, why do we read the clause before Shavuos, the clause of Bechukosai and Shutar Kainim and Bechukosai, and the clause of Mishnah Torah and Dvarim B'chisavai before Rosh Hashanah? And the Gemara says, Kadei shetichla shana v'kilu loiseha, so that the year should end with its clause. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam shehakol niyeh b'dvaroi.
Amen.
So that the year should end, the clause should end in the previous year. And Tosfos says, why isn't the Shabbos before Shavuos? It should be next week, not this week. It's fine, because we need to have a break between Shavuos. You can't put it right next to Shavuos. Yeah, but the point is that the year should end. So what's the year that's ending now? What kind of year is ending? You know, it's not Pesach and it's not Sukkot. It's not Tishrei. What's the year that's ending? The year that's ending is every year there's a Rosh Hashanah for learning Torah, for Torah. That's the Chag HaShavuos, okay? Or maybe you'll say it's a Teres Rosh Hashanah Lilan, whatever you want to say. But the year now is coming to a close, and we're starting a new year. We have to really understand that. Why is there kolalos that have to end before Shavuos? Try to understand that. The pasuk says, "In Bechukosai telechu v'nasati gishmeichem v'itam." If you do what I command you, I'm going to give you the rain. And if you don't do it, in loisishmuli afani asazois lachem, there's going to be retribution over here. So let's ask the following questions. Why do I need two sets of clothes? Why do I need two sets? Let's also point out some differences. This set of clothes is how many psukim?
48.
49.
And then Kisava it's
98.
98. It's exactly double. Right? Why? These clothes, who said them? Hashem said them.
Right.
The clothes there, Moshe Rabbeinu said them.
Yeah.
The clothes here are said in a Lashon Rabbin. Said the clothes from Lashon Vasisem Oisam, right? You will do them. It's talking to many. V'nosati ponai bochem. The clothes in Mishnah Torah, in Mishnah Torah and Dvarim are said Lashon Yachid. So look it up. What's the difference? I'll ask another question. The idea of schar and einish is known to us. We know that there's schar if you do good and there's einish if we do bad. It's all over the psukim and it's all over the neviim. Why do you need like the klolos? You know that if you do that avera you get malchus. If you do that avera you get misa. I mean, what do you need the klolos for? It's like the drama of like, well, if you're really terrible and altogether, then I'll just destroy you. Like, what's the point of the klolos? Why do you need it all together?
What does it add?
What does it add? Also, another very interesting question is, aren't you supposed to do the mitzvos l'shem shemayim? Oh, if you do the mitzvahs, you're going to get this, you're going to get that, you get this, you get this, you get that. If you don't do them, well, you really can get punished. Aren't we supposed to do the mitzvahs l'shem shemayim? So look, what's this about schar and onesh? We're doing the mitzvahs l'shema because Hashem commanded us to do that. So the shtickle I'm going to say over is from Rav Moshe Shapiro's Sefer Mimah Malkim. He says a yesod, and that is that the kololos are a bris. A bris, a treaty, the bris. The clothes.
This is the title of your class. The treaty.
What is the bris? It's a treaty between Klal Yisrael and the Rabbi. What is a treaty? A treaty usually defines, like, the peace treaty between Egypt and Israel. That peace treaty. So what it's supposed to do is define how they're going to coexist, right? That's what a bris does. It defines how two parties coexist. Like a prenuptial agreement is like a treaty between man and wife. Right? Just making fun. But anyway, a treaty is how are you going to define the relationship? So the klolos, the brachos and the klolos, are a treaty between Klal Yisrael and the Rebbeinu Shalom. How do I know that they're a treaty between Klal Yisrael and the Rebbeinu Shalom? Because it says it many, many times. It says in this week's parsha, "Levilti asois kol mitzvot sai lahafrechem es brisi." Right? If you don't do my mitzvos, and you're rejecting my treaty. And it says, "V'zacharti es brisi Yaakov, v'af es brisi Yitzchak, v'af brisi Avram, v'eskar v'eskar." I'm going to remember the treaty. "Zacharti lahem bris rishonim." I'm going to remember that treaty. In Kisavo it says, it calls it Alois Habris, the curses of the bris. It says Ela Divrei Habris. These are at the end it says Ela Divrei Habris. So the kolos is not called kolos in Torah. It's called the bris.
Covenant.
The bris.
The treaty.
What is a bris? It's the definition of the relationship. So that already answers most of our questions, because the Torah is not talking about schar and onish over here. He's not talking about, well, you do this to get rewarded. Don't, if you want to get punished. That's not what's happening over here. What's happening over here is a definition of the coexistence of ourselves as people with the Rebbeinu Shalom. Dahainu, what does that mean? If we do the commandments of Hashem, if we listen to His commandments, then the Rebbeinu Shalom, then the relationship is positive. It's like, if you listen to your wife, then she'll be nice to you, right? Lahavdil. Maybe. Perhaps. That's the it's not a you get a reward. That becomes the relationship. If you get along, then it's gewaldic. And if you don't, then it's terrible. It's not a punishment that if you do the wrong thing, I'm going to punish you. It's not I'm going to punish you. It's the relationship is sour. And when the relationship is sour between us and the Rebbeinu Shalom, guess what happens? The world falls apart. That's what happens. The world falls apart. And if the relationship is good, then it's good. That's what the calls are. So what's the need to bring it out in that way? The Ramban says an unbelievable yesod. This is a Ramban. Wow. The Ramban says there's a big difference between the clothes here and the clothes there. The clothes in our parsha, Parshas Bechukosai, is retribution. If you do these 7 things, I'll punish you in these 7 ways. Okay? It's a bris, which, if the relationship is bad, then we're not going to have shalom bayis. In Bechukosai, okay, let's say it a different way. I'd like to say it a different way. So let's talk about a different angle. The kololos of Parshas Bechukosai are neged, are opposite the Golus Harishan.
Right.
Golus Bavel. Oz tirtza aretz shapsoseha. Right? That the land is going to throw you out because of the punishment for the Shemitah that you didn't keep. That's a punishment for the 70 Shemitahs that you didn't keep during the Zman of the Beis HaMikdash Harishan. You get L'malois Chorvas Yerushalayim Shivim Shana, the Nevuah of Yirmiyah, 70 years of Golus. When it ends, you come back. It doesn't say anything in our Klalos about doing tshuva. It just says when you're finished being punished, you'll come back. It talks about the things, the averos that happen. You went and you served Avodah Zarah, right? The 7 averos that you're doing. Halachta mimi bekeri, afani elochem bekeri. Right? You do this, I'm going to do that. All of that was the averos of the people of the Bayis Rishon. And you don't really find that everybody did tshuva shlema at the end of Golus Bavel, and that's why they came back. And not only that, not everybody came back.
Exactly.
2 Shvatim came back.
The Levim didn't come back. I think
You had to punish them a little bit.
punished them a lot.
Ezra.
They lost their aliyahs.
So, what it is that the Rabbanu Shalom, there was a relationship with Klal Yisrael, and that relationship was strained. So he punished us, and then he brought us back. The clothes in Parshas Kisavo are different. The clothes in Parshas Kisavo is neged the second Beis HaMikdash and the destruction of the second temple, where it wasn't any more about the averos that were done. The clothes in Kisavo doesn't mention the averos that were done, specific averos, where it does here. What it is the essence of Klal Yisrael was destroyed. The Gemara in Nedarim we're familiar with. The Gemara asks, why, if they learn Torah, if everybody learned Torah, why was the second Beis HaMikdash destroyed? And the Gemara says, because it's in Aschina. Right? It's in Aschina. The Gemara says, because it's in Aschina. What's happening? What's happening is like this. The Gemara in Shabbos tells us that the end of the time of the first Beis HaMikdash was also the same time where Nevuah stopped. Tamu Schus Avos. The Schus Avos were finished up.
Ended off.
Yeah. The Rebbeinu Shalom brought us back because of Schus Avos. The Charti Lambris Yaakov, Efes Bris Yitzchak, Avram Azkar. But after that, it's Tamu Schus Avos. That was the last Schus Avos. The only reason, so this is a Ramban in this week's parasha, the only schus that the Bnei Yisrael had to have a Beis HaMikdash was b'schus Knesset Yisrael. Was b'schus Klal Yisrael. It wasn't anymore because of our fathers and the great things they did. It was Klal Yisrael. We were a group. We were one. Klal Yisrael. B'shul Knesset Yisrael. Once that broke down, the Beis HaMikdash had to be destroyed. Once that broke down, the Beis HaMikdash had to be destroyed. These clothes in Parshas Bechukosai are said B'loshen Rabin, because they're said to each and every person. But the clothes in Parshas Kisavo are said B'loshen Yachid, because it's said to Klal Yisrael. Klal Yisrael, if you become not Klal Yisrael anymore, not Knesset Yisrael anymore, not one, then there's going to be no more Beis HaMikdash and there's going to be terrible punishments. Bechukosai has 49 psukim. Kisavo has 98, exactly double. So Bechukosai was averos that were done. Averos that were done. We got to the 49th level, and then we had to be destroyed. We had to leave the land. Kisavo didn't start back at level 1. We started back at level 49. We never got back. And then we lost the next 49, which was the source of Knesset Yisrael. And now we can't even, the descriptions of what's going on in Parashat Kisavo are mamish unbelievable. And they're describing a situation where there's nothing to do anymore. There's no hope. It's torture. But there is one thing, and that's at the end of Parashat Kisavo, we talk about tshuva. You have to go back to the Rebbeinu Shalom. You have to do tshuva. In Parashat Bechukosai, it doesn't say anything about tshuva. It's tshuva. This is the structure of the two klolos according to the Ramban. The first Bechukosai against Bayis Rishon, the second Kisavo against Bayis Sheni. Right now we are in the golos of Bayis Sheni. You got to read the Ramban inside. It's a tremendous insight, and has a lot of. He reads it into the psukim, which is very difficult to relate in that. It's in Parshas Tez Zayin, Perek Chavav, Parshas Tez Zayin. But the idea is that we are now in Golus of the Golus Sheni, where we're completely broken, we're completely destroyed, we're completely out there. But what is it? We were punished. Hashem sent us away, kicked us out of class. No. The bris broke down. The treaty broke down. What does that mean? Our relationship with him broke down. What does that mean? What does that mean? We didn't live with him anymore. We weren't conscious of him anymore. The tikkun of Golus now is, sure, it's bein adam l'chaver, we talk about that a lot, but it's also to be conscious of the Rebbeinu Shalom, to infuse him into every action that we do, is to recreate that bris, that relationship. That's why the klolos are said to us right before Rosh Hashanah and before Shavuos. What is it? It's like Tichla Shana V'Kilo Asel. Like the Gemara almost sounds like, like you got to put the curses in the previous year because you don't want a Siman Ra in the next year. Right. It's the Pashup Shot. That's the simple meaning of the Gemara. The Gemara means something a little bit more deeper, a little bit more. What the Gemara is saying is that here's an opportunity. It's an opportunity to reconnect, to recreate that relationship with the Rebbeinu Shalom. On Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, to recreate that spiritual relationship. We've been dirtied, we've been sullied with all of the chataim of all the years. Now we can have a clean slate. What do we need to do? We need to reread those klolos. Because those klolos remind us of the status of our relationship. It's like going to a good, marriage counselor or something.
Marriage retreat.
Marriage retreat, yeah, you call it marriage retreat. And whoa, we're really in trouble. Like, this is the situation. Get a realization on what the situation is, and then work off from there. And similarly, before Kabbalah Satorah, it's the same thing. Hey, this is how we connect to the Rebbeinu Shalom. It's when we teilechu, when we're off the Matan Torah, cheshavti derachai. We have to think about it. We have to infuse the Rebbeinu Shalom into our actions. That is the preparation of Parshas Bechukosai, and that's the preparation of us now. We're coming to Lag BaOmer, we're coming to Shul. We're only a couple more weeks left for Matan Torah. However much effort we put in now, that's going to determine our Torah learning for the whole year.
Yeah.
Stop Rosh Hashanah. It's a Rosh Hashanah. And we have to put in the effort. We have to put in, and even when it's difficult for us, it has to be that our feet take us anyways. It has to be that way. Maybe that's not the most ideal. Maybe it's better to have Lishmak, but there has to be also Kaf Aleim Hakikigis. All of these aspects bring the Rebbeinu Shalom into our lives, into our relationship with him, and it elevates everything that we do. And if we can do that, we can prepare for Matan Torah properly. This year, to Matan Torah, where the Rebbeinu Shalom himself says, "Anochi Hashem Elokecha," with the Binyan Beis Hamikdash Ashlishi, from here to Amen.